Hi Fad Campers, it's Grace here and I have some new stand updates I'd love to tell you about. If you're based in the UK, I will be doing some dates in July and August and I'd love to see some of you there. I'll be in Leeds doing a work in progress with Amy Annette on July 4th in the Hyde Park Book Club. I'll be in Brighton on July 6th with Alison Spittle in the Comedia Comedy Club, and I'm going to be doing my own work in progress show in Glasgow on July 12th at Good Egg Comedy. Also then I will be at the Edinburgh Fringe, of course, for the entirety of August, from July 30th to August 24th. I'll be at the Assembly George's Square at the Crate, 10 to 3 every day. Would love if you could tell anyone you know who's going to be at the Edinburgh Fringe to come see my show. I'd really appreciate it. Thanks, guys.
This show is part of the Head Stuff Podcast Network.
What's the best way to reduce? Eat plenty or starve yourself?
30 pounds in just 18 weeks. Jenny Craig totally worked.
I love to eat, but overeating made it impossible to lose weight.
My body wants bread, and I'm going to give my body what it wants.
Oh my God.
So I lost
Naturally.
Medical studies prove that overeating is the number one reason for weight gain. If you need to lose weight, use safe and natural springs away and bring your weight down without the use of the same diet.
Welcome to Fad Camp, a podcast that throws a comedy eye over our societal obsession of diets. Now, a little disclaimer, we are not health experts, but we are fad diet connoisseurs. I'm your host, comedian Grace Mulvey.
And I'm your co-host, Conor Dowling.
Welcome to Fad Camp.
Conor, welcome to another episode of Fad Camp, and of course our listeners as well. Welcome.
Oh yes, we should also welcome our lovely listeners.
No, I just pretend to talk to you all the time. No one else listens
People
to this
are
show.
listening. Okay, interesting.
That's crazy. We're going to jump right in. First of all, actually, before we do, I want to thank all of the listeners who've gotten in contact recently, because we've actually gotten so many episode suggestions. Because sometimes me and Conor are like, God, I wonder if we're going to be able to keep coming up with ideas. And then obviously, once again, diet culture is so rampant that there's always stuff to talk about. But so many listeners have gotten in contact by email and by Instagram, suggesting new topics. Carrier pigeon, a telegram one time.
Skywriting in an aeroplane with smoke.
Listen, the way you guys, you're fanatical about getting in contact, but I love it. Yeah, so just thank you so much, because obviously it gives us a lot to work with for the next season as well, of our list of episodes, and we're going to cover more books for sure, because there's a lot more diet books coming in that people kind of want covered.
Grace is going to finally learn to read.
I'm going to... A, B. I'm just going through the alphabet all the time. But yes, thank you so much is the first thing. And then we're just going to jump right into the episode.
Ooh, let's jump on in. Thank you.
Conor, do you know what we're going to talk about today?
I do not know what we're going to talk about today.
So this, we came up with it. I kind of came up with the idea to talk about this actually from another episode, and I mentioned to you this very famous shop called Victoria's Secret.
I have never heard of such a place.
I have never gone in by myself. So Victoria's Secret. The reason I wanted to cover it was because it sounds like a weird one to cover for obviously like us talking about fad diets and kind of diet culture. But actually it has had such an impact on diet culture and also kind of like on body issues, image and stuff like that. And has really in the last few years had a massive downfall. So I really wanted to talk about it.
Okay, amazing. I'm ready to be educated. I really don't know much about it.
Well, what do you know?
I know that they are a famous brand in America. In America?
Do you think America doesn't exist? You asked the question about
America is the question there. I'm like,
and I'm pretty sure it's not. It's like Narnia. It's not real.
Did I make that
America?
place up? Big kind of like almost like the punchline to a joke of like, where people would get like sexy lingerie and whatnot. It's like, it's the sort of household name, or the boudoir name of the place where people get sexy lingerie, mostly for women, I believe.
Yes, yeah.
Other than that, that's end of episode. Okay, thanks
have
so much for joining us.
Have you ever been in one of Victoria's Secret?
I have not.
Okay.
Are there stores in Ireland?
Yes, there are. There's not many.
If it's not in Ireland, I don't want to know about it.
yeah, because you don't think America exists. We've already covered
Exactly.
this. But yeah, there is definitely one, I'm pretty sure, in Dundrum, or at least there was.
Okay.
But there was a few in Ireland. But historically speaking, yes, it's always really been in the US. And And then kind of came over to Europe and stuff, but really it was North America where it started. So you got it right on, listen, bang on the money. If anything, you knew a little too much.
I know, I'm suspicious. I should be on a list.
If anyone's listening. So...
You're so impressed with my knowledge.
Yeah.
What else can I share?
Imagine you were like, it was created in 1975. You know, like you're like
45 minutes later.
You're like, you tell me your favorite brand.
Yeah.
You're like, listen, that was a hit anyway for me. But okay, Victoria's Secret is an American lingerie clothing and beauty retailer known for high visibility marketing and branding. And it started with a popular catalogue and followed by a very famous annual fashion show with supermodels dubbed Angels.
Ah, yes, the Angels.
Much like Charlie's Angels.
Yes.
As the largest retailer of lingerie in the United States, the brand has been struggling since 2016 due to shifting consumer preferences. And ongoing controversy surrounding corporate leadership's business practices. We'll go into that a little later. But Conor, do you know where the name of the shop Victoria's Secret comes from?
The Queen.
Oh my God, bang on the money.
Does it?
Queen Victoria. Did you know that?
No, I didn't. I just
Conor,
guessed it.
you're a liar. You know everything about this.
I'm a mole. I'm on the inside. No, I just assume, okay, well, when you asked the question, I thought, it must be related to someone famous called Victoria. It's not going to be Victoria Beckham unless it was her, play school attire brand.
Well, I wouldn't put it past her. They don't care. She's Posh Spice, like she had the money apparently.
I wouldn't be surprised.
Yeah.
But then I think, okay, famous Victoria. Because it's the Queen. It's like, what's the Queen wearing under all that royal shit that she wears?
You're
this
very close
fancy
to this.
Stuff.
Yeah, so basically the name was in reference to Queen Victoria and associated with the refinement of the Victorian era, while the secret was hidden underneath the clothes.
Yes.
So it's all about like what's underneath.
It's tantalizing.
Isn't it just?
Yeah.
Victoria's Secret was founded by Roy Raymond and his wife, Gay Raymond, in 1977. Great name. The first store was opened in the Stratford Shopping Centre in Palo Alto, California. Years later, Roy Raymond, said that he created the store because he was embarrassed when purchasing lingerie for his wife at a department store. Newsweek reported that Roy Raymond stated, "When I tried to buy lingerie for my wife, I was faced with racks of terry clothed robes and ugly floral print nylon nightgowns." We've all been there, Paul. "And I always had the feeling that the department store saleswoman thought I was an unwelcome intruder."
Wow.
And so Raymond reportedly spent the next 8 years studying the lingerie market. So very interesting that it came from this guy who was like, I just wanted to buy my wife some lingerie.
Yeah.
And I find it interesting that I'm like, could she not buy her herself? Like, I know it's a weird thing that I'm like, I don't know if I ever want a man to gift me lingerie as much as I want to just buy my own lingerie that's comfortable in my own ass crack.
especially the nylon frilly weird garments that he was buying in these stores.
Yeah. Apparently he was buying her a poncho and he was like, why can't I just buy my wife a nightgown poncho?
So he brings her home a poncho, lingerie, and she's like, I don't know. And he's like, okay, well, you know what? I'm going to spend the next 8 years researching this and I'm going to start the world's biggest lingerie business. It's like, really? Like, how is that your response?
I kind of think that's kind of romantic if you're like, you know what, you didn't like what I bought you. And the saleswoman thought I was a pervert, so I am going to spend the next 8 years. Yeah. But it's just interesting that it came from this kind of very male way of looking at buying lingerie instead of a female way.
Well, I think that's also why I was able to come up with where the name came from, because it's just like a real like obvious like thing a guy would come up with and be like, oh, yeah, what is she wearing under there?
I want to know, and I'm going to spend the next 8 years finding out.
I won't ask anyone. I won't do any market research.
I'm not talking to one woman.
No, not
Absolutely
at all. I'm
not.
just going to guess.
So the company's 5 lingerie stores were sold to Leslie Wexner in 1982.
Oh, Leslie.
For $1 million. So he was Roy Raymond was doing quite well, obviously, with the shop, and he had 5 stores and everything like that. But it was very male centered.
Roy Ray.
And then Leslie Wexner, I think actually it was probably coming into a little bit of trouble from what I read. And then like Leslie Wexner came in 1982 and was like, actually, I really like this kind of idea that you have. I'm going to buy it for $1 million. Les Wexner then revamped Victoria's Secret's sales model towards a more greater focus on female customers. Victoria's Secret's transformed into a mainstay that sold broadly accepted underwear with new colours, patterns, styles that promised sexiness packaged in a tasteful, glamorous way with a snob of appeal of European luxury.
Oh, those Europeans love their underwear. Colourful underwear.
So it was meant to appeal to female buyers. To further this image, the Victoria's Secret catalogue continued the practice that Raymond began. And And basically that was like why it was such a huge hit, was that it had this catalogue where people from at home could buy. You know what I mean?
Yes,
where
okay,
people,
yeah.
obviously, whatever. Sometimes we find it very difficult to go into a shop like that.
Right.
They'd buy from home. But you know what's really interesting that I found mad? That now with the catalogue, they listed the company's headquarters as at a fake London address. Instead of at the real headquarters in Columbus, Ohio. And that was because obviously they wanted it to be like, oh, it's sort of European and like cool and foreign and sexy. Exactly. The stores were then redesigned to evoke a 19th century England, okay?
I'm like just trying to picture all of this. Is this what the modern stores look like? It's like
I'm imagining Hogwarts, like Harry Potter.
Yeah, like Victorian tea rooms. What's in this press? And you open it, it's just G-strings.
Wexner rapidly expanded into American shopping malls, and the company grew with 350 stores nationwide and sales of $1 billion by the early 1990s. So as you can imagine, in 1982 we bought it for $1 million, then it was worth $1 billion in the early 1990s.
Oh my goodness.
Okay? So it became the largest lingerie retailer in the United States.
That's a lot of pants.
That is a lot of pants with very little material. Okay, so basically why we're talking about this today, okay?
Yes, I'm curious.
You're curious. It really all starts from the Victoria's Secret fashion show. Now, have you ever heard of the Victoria's Secret fashion show?
I feel like I've heard of that, yeah.
Yeah, I feel like you have too.
What is it on? What channel is it on? Oh, yeah. What time?
So, from 1995 through to 2018, the Victoria's Secret fashion show was an essential part of the brand's image, featuring an annual runway spectacle of models promoted by the company as fantasy angels. So, they were basically models that were like referred to as angels on the show. By basically, I'll go into kind of other things that the company did. They basically Victoria's Secret with this runway really catapulted kind of into a cultural zeitgeist, right? Being an angel was really important. It was a big part of being a model's life. If you were like, I think 50 models were chosen a year to do this. If you were chosen, it was like, oh my God,
you'd be on your CV.
You're one of the top 50 best looking people in the world. Like all of their models were always featured as like the top 100 most beautiful people in the world. Okay. But as you can imagine, if Victoria's Secret just picked you, they had a certain look they were going for, and it was very specific. So these models, in order to get that look or kind of become the mold of an angel, went through a lot to do it. Okay. And also by doing that, if you think about it, Victoria's Secret being like the biggest lingerie retailer in America, and then of course going global, by them deciding what was beautiful with the very specific look of like these 50 women who also then kind of didn't look like that, had to like really change their bodies. Victoria's Secret became basically like the decider of what was beautiful for a long time.
Right, okay.
So
tastemakers, if you
Tastemakers, exactly, which is what I call my mouth. The 1990s saw the company's further expansion to shopping malls, and basically Victoria's Secret came up with the Miracle Bra, right? The new brand Body by Victoria. The Miracle Bra essentially was a push-up bra. Okay. But Victoria's Secret came up with it, and everyone was like, oh my God, your tits look amazing. And, that it just kind of catapulted them. And then they had also the Pink line, which I remember very distinctly. This came out in 2002. Victoria's Secret announced the launch of Pink, a brand that aimed to appeal to teenagers.
Oh, interesting.
So here you have, again, Victoria's Secret, which is like a lingerie store.
Yeah.
Suddenly having a brand that was for teenagers as well.
Okay.
We're getting into dangerous territory here, folks.
I know. I am not saying any more words now. But you mentioned the Miracle Bra. Was that basically just like an update of the Wonder Bra from previous?
Yeah, I wonder. I would have to look into it when the Wonder Bra kind of took off, because the Miracle Bra was basically, kind of like a signature of Victoria's Secret. So I don't know which was the chicken or the egg situation. I don't know if they came first or the Wonder Bra came first.
I happen to know this actually.
Conor, you know what? You're such a fucking liar. You know everything.
I'm just testing you, Grace. No. Okay, so here's where I reveal my secret knowledge. No, this is Conor's Secret.
Okay.
My new podcast. No, basically I read a biography a few years ago about Howard Hughes, the engineer, inventor, extraordinaire, Mr. Burns, inspiration in The Simpsons.
He was a germaphobe as well, wasn't he?
He was a lot of things. And he was also in the movie business. And there was a film that he made, that he produced, directed by Howard Hawks. I think it was Jane Mansfield, was the star of the movie. And whatever way, one day when she was on set in costume, whatever way she was dressed, her breasts looked a certain way. Okay.
Okay.
And he thought, oh, that's fabulous. All breasts should look like that. So he wrote a note, a handwritten note that is in a museum somewhere. He wrote a handwritten note to the costume department and said, if you create her brassiere to be a certain way with these dimensions at this velocity, if a train leaves the station at this time. And the costume lady looked at it and went away and, what the fuck is this man talking about? And she went away and created this like probably very like unaesthetically appealing bra, but did the job to sort of like lift her breasts in a certain way that's how they looked under her clothes. And then that basically found its way into the fashion industry, and that was the Wonder Bra.
That is insane that you know that.
Yeah. Well,
but also that's an amazing kind of piece of, you know what I mean? Like trivia.
Yeah, totally.
Why is it always men who are like,
Exactly.
oh, so you should look like that?
You know what would be better?
Wait.
You know what would be better?
I've never spoken to Jane once in my life. Don't ask her if she's very comfortable right now. I think every woman should look like this. So I'm just going to make this thing. Oh my God. Howard Hughes, how dare you? Right, okay. So let's get into it, okay? I'm going to talk very quickly about the runway show, okay? So, as I said, Conor, who obviously knows everything about Victoria's Secret, we've just found out about the bra world.
Encyclopedic knowledge.
The first Victoria's Secret fashion show was held in 1995, as I said before, and it was broadcast on primetime American television. The fashion show, overseen by Ed Razek, okay? Ed Razek is going to come up again. He was head of Victoria's Secret, and I'm going to tell you right now, had links to Jeffrey Epstein.
Oh, no.
Yeah.
That's not good.
Very not good. Not a great dude. We're going to it later. But anyway, he described the... He oversaw the fashion show, okay, and which was described by Newsweek as a combination of self-assured strutting for women and voyeuristic pleasures for men that made lingerie mainstream entertainment. Okay, it's weird that this.
I mean, this is before internet porn was like widely available, so people were just like, "Oh my God, women in underwear on television!
Exactly.
Let's all tune in, gather the whole family around."
Like, and then let's bring them to Hooters.
Make
That's
sure
not
your
weird.
teenage daughters are watching. It's a good example for them.
Exactly. Victoria's Secret's first ever online streaming for their fashion show was in 1999. The 18 minutes webcast was at the time the internet's biggest event since its inception. As you said, Conor, let's gather the family round.
Yeah, since the Space Jam website launch, which is a deep cut right there.
The show featured Tyra Banks, Heidi Klum, Stephanie Seymour. So like some of the biggest supermodels of the day.
Okay.
Like literally, I think Victoria's Secret technology couldn't handle how many people streamed this, and like it basically broke the internet.
Oh my God.
The webcast went down. The company's webcast saw over 1.5 million visits, and then of course, like next year, it like went up to 2 million. So listen, very very popular, right? The budget for the fashion show went from 12 million, okay, in 2011. That was from 120,000 at its inception. So as you can see, it was really big deal for the company that this like fashion show was like every year got bigger and bigger. But in November 2019, Victoria's Secret cancelled its runway show. So it ran from 1995 to 2018. And in 2019, they said, no, we're done. Okay, we have to cancel it. In 2021, the company said there was no plans to relaunch the show. Or there are plans to relaunch the show, sorry, but without Victoria's Secret Angels. Now, Conor, can you guess what happened? Kind of like, if you think about it, ran from 1995 to 2018. Yeah. Every year it was on. It got bigger and bigger. Mm-hmm. The budget got bigger. They had musical acts like Bruno Mars. Apparently 2001 was their biggest year. They had Andrea Bocelli.
Oh my goodness.
And by the way, you would see these
classy event.
Classy event. You'd see the angels walk by him in just their underwear. He'd be like, it's such a weird thing that this happened. But they had like Taylor Swift, they had Ariana Grande, like they had the biggest acts would perform at the Victoria's Secret thing. So what do you think kind of in 2018, 2019 changed that they would be like, okay, we're done?
Oh, I mean, it was the advent of like Me Too and stuff, wasn't it? Me Too movement?
Me Too. And also just body positivity.
Right,
people basically demanding that this thing is kind of ridiculous. You know what I mean? It's getting to a stage now where like every person, every woman who was on that stage looked exactly the same. Now,
right.
I'm not saying they did have some diversity. Like they always had like there were, it wasn't like just white women on stage. They did have like diversity, but no, it was mostly white women, let's be honest. But like, you know, it was never just that it was really just body shapes and
Yes,
sizes.
okay.
Like every single woman walking down pretty much looked the same. So now when it came to when they were asked about diversity, okay, basically the trouble began brewing in the last few years, presumably because viewers, namely female ones, started to get bored. The models all looked the same. The fashion was bizarre and unwearable, like really unwearable. Demand for more diversity in its casting began to reach a fever pitch. In 2018, the show netted only 3.3 million viewers, its lowest ratings ever since like the webcast when it turned into a TV show.
Yeah.
A steep drop from 5 million viewers the year before. But Victoria's Secret wasn't even trying to give its customers and viewers lip service when it came to diversity. In 2018, the company's then president, Ed Razak, here he is again, Rezak, who doesn't seem to understand that saying absolutely nothing is always an option, opened his mouth in response to the mounting complaints. In an interview with Vogue, he said he wouldn't have transsexuals in the show because the show is a fantasy. I actually don't even know what that means.
Okay.
But he said they tried to do a plus-size fashion show in the past. No one had any interest in it. Still don't, he said. Now, scandal ensued. He resigned. And that year, indeed, they did, in fact, hire their first transgender model, Valentina Sampio, for the catalogue shoot, but not for the fashion show. Okay? So, on top of this, the company has had other scandals. In 2014, they released a lingerie line called Body, whose ads featured the perfect body scrolled across images of their models. So they literally put... I mean, you know what? Sometimes I'm like, God, you got gumption to just back it up and go, this is what we think is perfect and everyone else is a hideous monster. You know what I mean? They had other things that they had...
really going for it.
They're really... Like, you know when you're just like, no, we're going to hammer down on this message. Yeah. Its Go East collection included a mesh teddy bear called the Sexy Little Geisha, which came with a matching mini fan.
Wow. Yeah. Cultural appropriation.
Yeah, exactly. The fashion show had been consistently accused of cultural appropriation, which made all the more offensive by how few models of colour there were.
Of course.
Now, okay. Oh, also, at a meeting in Victoria's Secret's headquarters in Ohio, an employee asked Mr. Wexner, who's kind of one of the heads there as well, what he thought about the retail industry's embrace of different body types. He was dismissive. He said, nobody goes to a plastic surgeon and says, make me fat.
You don't know that.
You know what? You actually
don't know that.
You don't know. And can I just say one thing? Some people have gone to get like...
certain parts of their body
fatter.
They're,
was it like a BBLs?
Brazilian
like
butt lift.
Yeah, exactly. People are going in being like, put it in my bum, baby.
Not that I know what that is.
Connor,
I don't know what that is.
Connor, what's going on here? You know
also,
a lot about this.
When I walk out of the room, don't look. Don't stare.
In also, you know, Ed Razak doubled down on his comments when it came to when he said there was no interest in portraying a wider range of shapes and sizes. He says, I'm always asking myself, if we do that, what is the reason we did it? Did we include them because it was the right thing to do or because it was the politically correct thing to do? Do they take the place of somebody who worked a year for the opportunity and cried when they found out they didn't get it?
Oh my God.
Oh, that is hilarious.
It's like, I don't want thin people to cry. I want fat people to cry.
Yeah, I'm so used to fat people crying, but I don't like it when a thinny cries. Okay, so also I just wanted to let's go into the models and diets. Okay, this is going to be a tough.
Okay,
read.
But also just on the plastic surgery thing, I don't think anyone. I mean, maybe someone has gone in and said, "I would like a double chin, please."
Maybe someone's gone in with a picture of me and been like, "This, I want this." And I'm like, listen, give the people what they want.
It's a free country.
You know, just a bunch of people who look like me on stage. You know what I mean? Some stumpy, gorgeous ladies out there. Okay, so the models who take part in this. This is kind of the real reason we're talking about it.
Okay.
Every year, Conor, I always remember watching... No, I never watched the show, but I was always watching like E-News. When E-News came to Ireland, I was on top
last
of it.
year.
Last year, because we're so far behind. No, but you know, when I was like a teenager and I'd be watching a bit of E-News or just like the E channel, every year they'd always cover the Victoria's Secret thing. And it wasn't just the fashion show. They'd talk to the models beforehand. They'd go through their training regimen. They'd go through what they were eating. And
okay, interesting.
There'd be segments of them
God.
beforehand, like following them through it all and everything like that. And it was like, I basically put into Google to try and remind myself of these things. Victoria's Secret models diet. Please don't Google it. The results are tough to watch. Like, as in, like, now that I look back at it, I was like, I remember being like, these girls are just amazing and what they're doing is so good. And now I read up on it, I'm like, oh my God, these poor women, like what they were going through to be part of the show. So, basically, you're talking about like some of the highest profile models like Kendall Jenner, Gigi Hadid, Bella Hadid, all taking part of this.
These are modern models you're talking about, yeah.
He's pretending he doesn't know.
No, because the name Kendall Jenner, I was like, that's a Kardashian.
That's a Kardashian, yeah. And then Gigi and Bella Hadid, they're like two of the biggest models of the day.
I've heard those names before. I don't know if I've seen them.
Gotta cover your tracks, gotta.
Hey, I'm not like some husband in the 90s who's like, oh, I've never seen a naked woman other than my wife. And, I'm like, if I'd seen them, I would be like, I don't know why I'm going red right now.
You're totally
Good thing we're not
red.
filming this.
So I kind of, because I could have gone through, there were so many options I could have gone through to read up on everything. I actually decided to go one article, The Guardian, which was Victoria's Secret's show Angels Lingerie. They went through in great detail kind of what, it was a 2018 article about what the Angels kind of had to go through, kind of a look back on the way we have promoted this as like a positive, the diets that they took part in. Because actually a lot of the Google searches I found, like results, were like, we're talking about how to follow the Angels diet. And I'm like, no, I don't want to go down that route. I kind of want to know overall what they were doing and how it has affected them. So hard work is a term you hear a lot of Victoria's Secret models, or angels as they're called, have hard work is like a term that you hear a lot that they will throw around when they say they like when they're talking about the show and what they've gone through. Okay, so it means the hard work, what it really means is exercise, training, toning, boxing, skipping, using the hashtag train like an angel online and working out.
Why not just Traingel? Hashtag Traingel. There you go.
Conor, you're so
I should
good
be
at
working
marketing.
for Victoria's Secret. I mean, maybe they'd still be in business if they had brighter minds.
Maybe if they'd answered any of my emails.
Yeah. I've been sending them these ideas once a week. I send them 5 ideas. Do they get back to me? No. This is why their business is failing. This is why that 5 million viewers went to 3.5 million in less than a year.
And you know as well, Conor, I just feel like another man really needs to get involved in the
Exactly.
lingerie
Thank
industry.
you.
Another straight man needs to come in and go, this is what it should look like.
This is what straight men want to see. I'm like Howard Hughes. I'm like the modern Howard Hughes. He invented Wonder Bra. I invented hashtag Traingels.
Yeah, I want to see tits up at the eyes. That's what I want to
Exactly.
see. Okay, I want to see them so far pushed up.
My eyes are down here. Okay.
Okay, so they use the hashtag train like an angel, and they would work out in invite-only classes with names such as the Skinny Bitch Collective. Okay. The show's strict weight and body fat requirements, endlessly speculated on in the media, would go far beyond the reach of what most adult women would be capable of doing. Indeed, they were far beyond the reach of most models, which is why the 50 or so picked to be part of the Victoria's Secret family each year had to endure months of dieting and exercise. Model Robin Lawley has appeared in Sports Illustrated and on the cover of Vogue Italia in Australia, as well as modelling for Ralph Lauren and loads of different places. She went to a Victoria's Secret casting 6 years ago and was not hired. It's a running joke that they see curvier girls every year and never cast them, she says. This whole starvation camp situation before you have to walk the catwalk is ridiculous. Some of them are my friends on the stage. I'm not pulling them apart, but they have put their bodies to such extremes once they cast the show. They couldn't maintain that kind of lifestyle or they'd die. Now, a quick thing, Victoria's Secret's models have gotten thinner over the 23 years of the fashion show.
How much thinner can they get?
I know.
They're fading away. Don't have a little sandwich there.
Exactly. Basically, over the 23 years of the fashion show, a study found that they have gotten thinner. So, cosmetic dermatologist Dr. Nalim Vashi, an assistant professor of dermatology at Boston University, analysed the measurements of the models who walked the runway over the 23 years from 1995 to 2018. Overall, these models became slimmer and their dress size decreased, says Vashi. The ratio stayed the same, meaning the ratio of like their body measurements.
Okay.
So Victoria's Secret apparently had a very distinctive, like, here's what we want your body measurements to be in terms of like ratio.
Okay.
So your bust to hip should be a certain ratio.
Yeah.
It didn't matter kind of what inch it was as long as it was a certain ratio.
Oh, right. Okay. Yeah, I get you.
So as the obviously Victoria models got thinner, the average American woman actually got larger as well.
Right. Fucking hell.
And the concern over the rising disparity came up, like, was mentioned in a paper called Unattainable Standards of Beauty. Basically, these findings represent an ideal of beauty that continuously moves away from the characteristics of the average American woman, found the study. Victoria's Secret obviously did not reply to this email or your emails. But the study notes a dramatic recent rise in cosmetic surgery, with buttocks and lower body lift procedures increasing by, this is a mad percentage now, okay, by 4,295%.
Whoa.
And 256% respectively since the year 2000, okay?
Wow.
That is an insane increase.
Astronomical.
If anything, I was actually like, that can't be right. You know, but then I'm like, from the year 2000, actually, that does sound right. It's been 22 years now. This study, I'm pretty sure, came out in 2018, but no, it came out in 2020, apologies. But that's 20 years, actually.
Yeah.
And that made sense to me because I was like, do you know what? Cosmetic procedures now are so normalized that, like, people, you know, and maybe I wonder if they're including procedures such as Botox or, because Botox obviously isn't like a long-lasting procedure, but I would know even like lip fillers and things like that. These are just things that now have become kind of something that people might even get for a wedding. Or just kind of like, or like a little freshen up or something.
Oh, goodness, yeah.
I don't think that was in any way part of culture in the year 2000.
No, absolutely. Like, I mean, in the early 2000s, we were basically every tabloid or reality star or like all those MTV kind of like reality shows that were popping up. Everyone was going off and getting boob jobs and, you know, nose jobs and things like that. And it was kind of a novel thing at the time, you know, and it was newsworthy.
Oh, so newsworthy that like people would like disappear from society for 6 months and then come back and be like, what? I had nothing done. I just fell on my face a bit. You know what I mean? And they'd never admit to it. Now it's like actually admitting to it kind of isn't a big deal at all. But yeah, basically the study found that bust measurements dropped from 32.9 inches to 32 inches. Okay, that's 0.9 inch, which actually I know these things don't make it, but like having been a person who's been measured many times on different diets, theyose things would be things that they'd be applauded. You know what I mean? Like, that's so amazing. To lose that much is actually really difficult. Waist size dropped from 24.7 inches to 23.6. That's over an inch the waist size dropped for these models who would not have had much to lose in the first place, okay? And then the hips shrank from 34.9 to 34.4. It's 5 inches those hips shrank on average for the models over 23 years.
Yeah.
The average dress size dropped from 5.2 to 3.7. So to decrease a dress size from 5.2 to 3.7, that's a significant difference. To slim off an inch off one person's waist, that's a very hard thing to do. And like the fact that like it's at a time, this was happening at a time where you have the pluralities of like the body positivity movement and then people who are just ardent dieters. Like it's like we are in this moment where we still have this real big split happening. But anyway, back to the models. Every year, as I said to you, Conor, when the Victoria's Secret show would come up, I would see all of these like articles or like mini kind of segments on things following the, you know, praising these models for what they were doing. The Independent, Grazia, Vogue, the Daily Mail all published guidelines to how to look like a Victoria's Secret model every year, okay? Occasionally they get journalists to actually try the diets themselves, right? And they'd end up being exhausted and hungry, unable to concentrate or eat out with their friends, okay? Because that was something we were thinking of doing. Do you remember when we were starting the podcast? We were like, oh, will we try the diets with that? Because we've already done them. But like, will we try some that we haven't? And I actually was like, I actually refuse to put my body through that. I don't think it's fun or funny because I think when you do show people like, oh, it's just a bit of fun, we'll try it out. It's actually like these things can do damage to you. And like, it's not funny that you can't concentrate or eat out with friends and then go, God, they're great for doing it though, aren't they? I'm just not I'm not capable, you know?
Yeah, and that is kind of a trend you see a lot on YouTube. You see like, we tried the Marvel superhero workout for a whole month, or we tried this diet or whatever. And it's just like, yeah, like if you're just like, you know, a fiend for likes and kind of like the spectacle of it, and then also not really kind of like to do it in like, remember when Super Size Me, like, and he kind of did it to sort of prove a point, like,
Super Size, to kind of, the McDonald's one, yes,
to kind of prove, you know, to make a comment about the fast food industry. Now he's got all sorts of like controversy around him, and essentially, but you know, the essence of that was to kind of like shine a light on something. But I think a lot of people do it for like, oh, I got pretty ripped actually doing this thing for a month. I don't know if I do it all the time, like you say.
Yeah, and I just think as well when you do that, like it's very hard then to critique the diet because you're like, yeah, I did notice a change in a month. Well, of course you did on a really restrictive, insane diet. But are you going really like, but is this healthy long term? Like, you know what I mean? And obviously like only like for say like the Marvel diets, I'm like, yeah, these people are backed by a massive studio who are going to pay for everything. And even they turn around and go, it's hell. Yeah. And then we're like, let's try it. It could be fun. Anyway, one diet, right, that the Victoria's Secret models went through, suggested by trainer Stephen Pastorino, is so restricted that by the end, even cauliflower and broccoli are out.
Don't make a pig of yourself on cauliflower and broccoli.
Did you steam a broccoli head last night, you stupid fat
I
bitch?
sauteed it. It's like, you're out. You are no longer an angel.
I just made some cauliflower rice. Cauliflower rice, by the way, is disgusting.
Cauliflower rice. Okay, like, and you know me, I love my weird bullshit foods.
Potato milk, yeah.
You know, potato milk, I will stand by potato milk, great. No, actually, potato milk was just kind of like nothing. It was just kind of like, what is going on here?
Yeah.
Cauliflower rice, no.
Yeah.
Cauliflower pizza base, would you ever fuck off?
I've never had it.
It's wrong. It's like a sponge. It's like eating your pizza off a sponge. Never. And you know what? Like, people need it because it's like, you know, like maybe you can get like a fully gluten-free one, but the one I had was like half cauliflower, half like, you know, some sort of flour or something like that, because they need some sort of flour to bind it together. No, it was like, it was disgusting. Absolutely disgusting. Never.
Do you know when you're like, what if I died after eating this? And then like,
that was your last meal?
That was my last meal. And I'm like, listen, if you believe in heaven, you're up at the gates of St. Peter. He's like, oh, so what did you end on? And you're like, I had a cauliflower base. And he was like, why? We gave you bread. You're like, yeah, I can't even explain diet culture to you, St. Peter. I don't want to explain
it. Was a weird time. I was training to be a Victoria's Secret model.
I just, you know.
Cut some extra calories.
Exactly. So model Barbara Palvin, after one show, her boyfriend brought her a bag of cheeseburgers to eat after a show to prove how little she'd been eating before.
A bag of cheeseburgers? Is this like a bag of chips or a bag of crisps and you just one at a time? I mean, I'm not against it. How many were in this bag, Grace?
A bucket of cheeseburgers.
A sixer of cheeseburgers. Just break one off. The rings. I mean, does that sound bad? I don't think so.
Marry this man.
Yeah. Wait, he brought her the bag of cheeseburgers because she wanted her like to be like, look, you're disgusting. You're not eating.
Almost to be like how little you ate before. Like I'm worried about you, sort of thing. So from what I can tell from this article,
you need your protein. You need your grease and lard.
I got you a bucket of cheeseburgers, baby. Adriana Lima, the brand's longest-serving model, told The Telegraph in 2011 that she cuts out all solid foods 9 days before the appearance.
Okay.
Many models do not drink fluids either. Dehydration is a massive...
fluids? What?
Yeah, dehydration is a massive problem.
That makes me thirsty. Hang on, I'm just going to take a sip of water.
One fashion editor said dehydration is a massive problem. Essentially, it is the circus they consider to be competitive anorexia before the broadcast is streamed. Okay?
Okay.
Welcome to Victoria's Secret Fashion Show 2022. This show is different from everything you've ever seen before. We've heard your feedback, we've taken it on board, and now we're back, and we're different. Today's musical guest is Ed Sheeran singing, of course, The Shape of You, which, of course, is the shape Victoria's Secret wants you to be. The perfect shape. The only shape. We have our first angels struggling up the runway now. Oh, actually, excuse me, we're not calling them angels anymore. We wanted to show some respect to the models now. Yes, we're doing that now. We're now calling them unicorns. The first sparkling unicorn strutting her stuff down the runway is stunning. Look at her prance like a pixie. I don't know what a pixie is, and I don't even know if they exist in our reality, but she's got it. Okay, now our next unicorn. And I know we're all PC these days, but I just have to say this next one is just hot. Like 10. A stone cold 10. Sorry, that's 2018 me talking. I know there are kids watching, and they better be. Because we've got a kids' lingerie line coming out. Little Sexy Angels. I just came up with that name now. Just right now, I'm impressed with myself. But yes, of course, we've gotten some flack in the past. The words dehydration, dizziness, abuse of human rights were thrown around. So, with that in mind, the next unicorn on the runway has actually drank so much water. She is translucent, and she is a marvel to behold. I spent a lot of time in preparation with the models, and I can't even tell which one this is as she trundles down the runway. Oh my goodness. Stop everything. Here she is, the woman of the hour. An actual skeleton. What we have always wanted here at Victoria's Secret. Ever seen Pirates of the Caribbean? Well, we did the lingerie for that. Shiver me timbers. Victoria's Secret. We don't know who this is for.
I Know That Face is a movie podcast on the Head Stuff Podcast Network, hosted by me, Stephen Porzio.
And me, Andrew Carroll. Our show is all about character actors. The type of performers you'll see pop up in supporting roles in blockbusters. The type of people you know the faces but not the names.
Each episode we pick one particular character actor and discuss a couple of their movies, shining a light on the performer's career while giving listeners plenty of movie recommendations. So the show is a must for cinema lovers.
Subscribe to I Know That Face wherever you get podcasts and follow us on Twitter at I Know That Face P1.
Hey guys, hope you're enjoying the episode. If you want to hear more bonus exclusive content for Fad Camp, make sure to log on to Headstuff Plus, and for as little as $5 a month, you can support our show and other shows in the Headstuff Podcast Network and hear exclusive content from Fad Camp. That's bonus episodes, photos, videos. It's a really good time, so we hope to see you there. Now, back to the show.
Adriana Lima, as we said, was one of the longest serving models at the show, okay? She retired from the brand in 2017 after 20 years. In June of that year, a video on her Instagram account showed her struggling through a workout, okay? And she said in the video, seeing this video makes me emotional. Sometimes people look at you from the outside and think her job is so easy. Not that I'm complaining. Remember, when they don't know what you've gone through. Here I am 4 weeks after giving birth. 4 weeks after giving birth.
Oh my goodness.
To my beautiful daughter, Valentina. And after days of physical therapy because I had a fractured knee. Putting all my focus to get ready for a fashion show. And she said 60 pounds heavier. I learned something during that time. Once you love something, absolutely nothing will have the power to stop you, not even your mind or body. Now, her saying that, I'm going to say, is some of the most batshit crazy diet culture shit I've ever heard.
Yeah.
It is never a good idea to exercise on a fucking fractured knee.
Oh God, no.
4 weeks after you've given birth. And you know when you're like, 4 weeks... Sorry, I just can't.
Oh God, that poor woman.
And she's there being like emotional because she's like, never give up, never. And you know when you're like, this is such eating disorder, body dysmorphia, diet bullshit. Mm-hmm. The whole thing is never give up, work through the pain. No, your body's trying to tell you something, and it's like it's a fashion show. Like no fucking offense, but maybe a month after your kid, they should just be going, here, babes. Go out and whatever you want to. Your body's beautiful. You managed to push out a human being.
Absolutely. Like there is that kind of brainwashed side of things where this story, and it's sort of bravado as well. And it's this story being sort of reframed as, look at what I pushed through to follow my dreams. And it's like, no, look at what the dreams you've been fed or convinced yourself that you need to achieve. Look at what that's driven you to and what danger that's put you through. And, you know, you've just had a child. Like, I mean, like you deserve a break, and you know,
all because Howard Hughes was like, "This is what your taste should look like."
Exactly, because some guy, and then like you say,
and it
like,
is some guy, like, no offense, but it is
totally.
it's some executive being like,
Yeah.
"I only like women a certain way, so you better get back to it."
Exactly, and it's like, again, like you say, like for a fashion show, it's like, and even like, you know, for me, like I've never even seen it. Maybe I've seen, you know, clips of it or flick past on a TV or whatever, but I would never sit in front of a TV and be like, I hope those models are pushing themselves to the fucking edge for my enjoyment.
Yeah,
Do you know what I mean? Even if I was like aroused or turned on by that, and I was like, oh, I want to buy that like lingerie for my partner. I still want the fucking people who are modeling it to be as happy and healthy and, you know, safe as possibly can be.
I know. And at the end of the day, what's really sad is that, like, when I think about it, you know, the terms they're using, even her talking there, it's like she's an athlete going for the Olympics.
Totally.
Right?
I was just thinking that as well. Yeah.
And I'm like, at least with athletes, they're like, I'm going for Olympic. No, I'd hope they'd never be pushing themselves to the point of, and there's also a whole conversation about that.
Yeah.
But they're like, I want to achieve something. I want to, you know, I want my body for some sort of athleticism to maybe break a record, you know, to get the gold. It's the sad thing that, like, with athletes, will allow them to make themselves bigger, maybe, to make themselves take up more space, to make themselves get the glory. And for these women, we're just like, you need to make yourself as small and thin as possible.
Yeah, but like, and even like, I mean, you know.
It's just it's us saying that you need to manipulate your body, even if it's with athletes. I'm like, I'm so uncomfortable with this.
Yeah.
It's an aesthetic. It's not actually to even make it healthier.
Yeah.
It's an aesthetic here.
But like, and I think we can all agree that the athletes are probably fucking at least drinking fluids, you know what I mean, in their training.
They're
like,
probably having some sort of water, before the fucking show.
At least, like, you know.
So, Ed Razek, here he is again.
Oh, yeah.
Denies that the brand has had a hand in how the models train. The girls have just continued to get more physically fit, he told Vogue.
Just by accident.
This trip into the gym. We don't tell them to. They compete with one another, and they work hard. They work in pairs. They work in threes.
2 by 2 they went to the gym. It's like, who the fuck are you, man?
They skip down the runway with their
speaking in
fractured
riddles
knees.
here?
This seems at odds, by the way, with an interview he gave to Forbes in 2015, in which he recalled a model asking him why she didn't make it into the show before when she'd appeared in the show the year before. And
He's
he
like,
replied,
I pointed right at a bag of cheeseburgers, and I was like, there's your fucking reason.
I slapped her in the face with a bag of cheeseburgers. And he's like, you tell me why. And he said to this model, every night I see a picture of you on Instagram from a club, night after night. And every night you were doing that, while Adriana Lima was jumping rope for 3 hours.
Wow, what's he doing looking at his models' Instagrams at night, Ed? Don't you have a family to go home to?
The guy who was linked to Jeffrey Epstein, I wonder. Oh yeah, this is from Robin Lawley, the model we heard from before. She said, it's pitting girls against girls, which I think is a revolting technique. Razek is trying to make out as though he has got nothing to do with it, which is complete bullshit. It wouldn't happen like that normally. Those girls don't have to starve themselves like that when they're not working for that runway. They all have body dysmorphia. That's the thing. All these girls, they all have beautiful bodies and none of them need to do any of it. That's the irony of the whole thing. The Victoria's Secret spokesperson did come out and say, we would never dictate any sort of diet regime for our models. We promote a healthy lifestyle. What I find very interesting as well, knowing a bit how media works, how these stories suddenly would be in newspapers a few weeks leading up to the, you know what I mean, fashion show. And for them to be like, we don't say they need to diet. But how do they suddenly become like, those stories suddenly are out there a few weeks before the runway show when they want to like promote it to hell. And they're saying, oh, we've got nothing to do with it.
Yeah, and that actually kind of reminds me a bit of our conversation we were talking about the Marvel superheroes workouts. And I think it was Kumail who said, I mean, he had a whole thing on it, which was really fascinating. It was really well rounded. But I think he said, oh, they were like, you know, don't worry about it. Like, you know, and the director, Chloe Zhao, she was like, oh, you don't need to work out. And he's like, no, I want to do it. And they're like, okay, let's pump our, you know, all of our support and all of that into that. But we were kind of saying, it's like, yeah, like you get the role in the Marvel movie and they point to the wall and go, okay, well, there's Chris Hemsworth. Yeah, okay. And then we have Chris Evans. And then there's the before and after picture of Chris Pratt.
Yeah.
Oh, even Paul Rudd got ripped. It's like, But you're fine just where you are. But we
yeah.
also have all of these like trainers and shit if you want.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So it's like in the Victoria's Secret world, it's like, oh no, we suggest that. Oh, maybe go to the gym once or twice a week in the run up to, just to sort of freshen up.
And then we can show them lingerie that's about 2 sizes too small for them and go, and listen, if you could possibly fit into this.
Great. If not, fuck off and never come back. That's all. Just never darken our door again.
If you don't want to go eat a bag of fucking cheeseburgers.
Yeah. I mean, that's the alternative.
Yeah. Now, things obviously, as I said in the last few years, thankfully, the tide has been changing, okay?
Hallelujah.
Hallelujah. Bridget Malcolm, who modelled in 2015 and 2016 shows, apologised for publicising her damaging eating habits and exercise regime. And which is actually a really brave thing to do, to come out. She said, body dysmorphia is a terrifying thing, she wrote. I have had countless conversations with fellow models, all of whom are tiny, where they call themselves fat. It's such a hard thing to understand if you are removed from this. But when it comes to the mental game like this, it grows wings of its own. See what you did there? Angels, wings.
Love it.
These models, they know what they're doing. They know what they're doing. So in 2016, another former angel, Erin Heatherton, said she was pressured to lose weight by the company. Despite exercising twice a day and following a strict meal plan, she was unable to meet the targets set for her. So targets set for her is also something that we were just alluding to.
Yeah.
I got to a point where one night I got home from a workout and I remember staring at my food and thinking, maybe I should just not eat. I realised I couldn't go out into the world parading my body and myself in front of these women who look up to me and tell them that this is easy and simple and everyone can do this. Through it all, the models are expected to be grateful for the opportunity. The casting of the Victoria's Secret shows is a humiliating ritual, one in which models must essentially beg for the job. There's a video of Gigi Hadid casting shows, one of the most successful models virtually prostrating herself. The brand publishes...
Prostrating?
Prostrating.
Okay, right, okay.
Prostrating? Prostrating.
I was like, prostating.
Giving herself a prostate exam.
I can't find it.
I don't think I got one.
They're like, do it. Like, you want to be on this show.
You want to wear that
you
thong?
You gotta find your prostate.
You want to have those titties pushed up? You gotta find it. So the brand publishes this as a marketing tool. So like basically like all of these models would go on Instagram and be like, please, I really want to be a Victoria's Secret angel.
Like publicly?
Yeah.
Oh my goodness.
Well, not privately. I don't know how you use
No, like
Instagram.
I thought there was some sort of casting like day and they're all like, okay, now you beg. Yeah. And now we're on to number 2 and beg. But no, they go online and they do sort of a campaign kind of thing.
Yeah. And basically, they've somehow managed to turn the Victoria's Secret show at one point into like this American dream. So that's why like it was such a pressurized time. And I know like for you, you're kind of outside of it in terms of like being like, oh, is this a big deal? But like for teenage girls who were buying the pink brand that might have been in Victoria's Secret, this is what they were being shown all the time. And the Victoria Angels, like, it was such a big deal that you got chosen to be this.
Right.
So the fact that behind the scenes, those women were going through that just to be on that stage, like, it really was, like, you know the way we were talking about, like, Hugh Jackman in Les Mis, where he didn't drink beforehand, so you could see all the, like, veins and...
pecs be popping.
Yeah, like, the fact that these girls were going out with essentially no clothing.
Yes.
That, like, you wouldn't want to have an inch of fat. You couldn't.
Unforgiving, nowhere to hide.
Completely nowhere to hide.
Yeah. It's just, there's so much I want to say in it, but actually, you know, you're saying, like I'm very kind of, like, removed from that world. The only kind of, like, personal experience I have of this is, okay, so look, I was an angel now.
I found that prostate and I got on that stage.
No, but I was hired to film at an event in Dublin in the Mansion House a few years ago, like 2017. And it was basically like the Irish like national finals.
Yeah.
To select a model to compete in Miss Universe.
Right, okay, yeah.
And it was a very, you know, fancy, like Dublin's finest influencer type event. Like everyone, you know, all that sort of like crowd at it. And it was a lot of like models in gowns who were like sponsored by various like companies around Ireland and all that and representing different counties. And it was very much like a real life like beauty pageant where they had like, you know, catwalk and like different types of outfits and, you know, all these like stunning like, you know, the different types of women from all over Ireland. And then they narrowed it down to however many, like 3 or 4 women at the end, and they all gave their kind of like speech. If I was Miss Universe, I would pledge to blah, 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 you know, that kind of thing.
Yeah.
And then they picked a winner and all of that. And I remember being like, is this still a thing?
Yeah.
It just felt, this was like in 2017, back in the dark ages, like, you know what I mean? We've come so far since then. But like, I was just so, at the time, being like, I thought this was like something that was like, just like on TV in America. And, you know, but it was still very much like this would be such a badge of honor to achieve. It's kind of what you're saying about like, you know, for the models, it's like, this is like kind of the holy grail, the Victoria's Secret runway kind of thing, you know?
I know, you're so right. Like when you do see that sometimes.
I won, by the way.
Did you?
Yeah,
Good.
no, I got up on stage and I gave the speech and I went on. I didn't win, but I placed. I did place.
Did you place?
In Miss
Miss
Universe.
Congeniality.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Miss Congeniality, okay?
But it like beauty pageants, I know, probably its own episode in itself, but yeah, in this day and age, like, you know, they start, I think was it Miss Universe or Miss World, they've gotten rid of the swimsuit section. And that has only happened.
How dare they? Have they not listened to any of my emails?
Listen to my emails. I just send voice messages via email. This is why no one gets back to you. But
who have I been talking to?
But like, they've gotten rid of the swimsuit kind of section stuff. But these are things that we're like only doing now. And it does feel like, even to say like, oh, the last Victoria's Secret show was in 2018. Like, we're 2022, and 2 years of that was a pandemic.
I know, yeah,
it wasn't going to happen anyway.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
What had they got planned for 2020? Who knows?
Exactly.
Like,
I love the models were just walking down with a mask, but nothing else. But the mask is
just
really
mask bra.
But it's just like the mask is also just a thong.
Oh God. Just the string over here, just upside down thong.
But you know what I mean? Like, we're only getting rid of this sort of stuff now. Or we're looking back at it and going, this is kind of mental. Like, that we did this for so long.
Yeah.
So that's why, like, to talk about Victoria's Secret, I thought was actually really important, because, like, I used to go into Victoria's Secret. First of all, I could never get a bra there. That would just, my bra size was not there. Also, my bra size is a mental size anyway. But like, it was never there. I'd have to go to Marks and Spencer. So I always remember going into Victoria's Secret. And as well, I have a belly. Like, they just never had anything that would look in any way good on me. And it was so expensive. But I always remember going in there and just feeling like I didn't belong there.
Sure.
You know, so I can only imagine how like transgender people would feel, transgender women, or like anyone else who's like even bigger than me, or like, and even women who are smaller than me, who kind of were that. I just don't think, I think every single person there, if you were staring at an image or a video of a woman who has had no liquids, or has only existed on liquids for 9 days, or hasn't had any water in 24 hours, how much that messes with our heads.
Yeah.
And then there was teenage girls in there buying stuff because they had their own like brand, like label there as well. So
yeah, like, I mean, it's just the whole thing. Like, there's, like you said, there's so much in it. Like, but talk about like unattainable beauty standards, even for the people who we are looking to. You know, even for the models, it's unattainable.
Yeah.
They're striving for something that is so dangerous for them to even grapple with. And like, you know, it just makes me wonder, like, what's driving this? And okay, you could say like, yeah, it's like some like horny straight white man at the top going, I want them thinner, I want them to be this measurements. But like, it just feels like, when will it ever be good enough? You know what I mean? When will it ever be thin enough? Or, you know, the ratio, when will that ever be like ever so that people are like, yes, okay, that's it, we've got it. You know what I mean? Like, I just can't help but wonder, like, what does just constantly drive this? Like you said, you know, from the 90s to the 2000s or 2018, like, the sizes have just gotten smaller and smaller and smaller. Like
23 years,
if this keeps going at that rate, like, you know, does it just keep getting like,
you
know what I mean? Like,
are we
obviously
literally just like getting a skeleton to walk down?
You know what I mean?
Yeah, exactly.
You know what I mean? So it's like, so what's the goal here? Like, at what point is it good enough? You know, so it just makes me wonder, like, is it about like control, or is it like a competitive thing?
Do you know? I always think it's an interesting thing, and you can read up more about it yourself, but I always remember reading about that when women were given the vote, suddenly sizes got smaller.
Okay.
very difficult to do anything when you're dieting. We know this. Do you know what I mean? When you're dieting can take up a lot of your mental, emotional capacity because you're hungry and actually you're prepping all the time and all this sort of stuff. I think it's a real distraction. You know, dieting and focusing on this is such a distraction from the rest of your life. Yeah. Which is why sometimes people really want to focus on it when they're going through something really tough in their life. Anytime I've gone, particularly grieving, that's when my dieting has really, like, I've lost the most amount of weight I've ever lost. And that's because I was in such a bad mental way. I didn't want to focus on anything else.
It distracts you. Even if you are facing any kind of challenge, it's like, how could I handle this better? Like, you know, this person I like doesn't like me, or I don't like these clothes, or whatever it is, whatever kind of like lifestyle kind of thing. The first thing we often go to is, if only I was thinner. Yeah. And like, listen, you know, women got to vote, we're part of society, obviously, but we're also the biggest consumers. Yeah. Women buy the most amount. Like, I think it's something like 70%. We take up 70% of consumption in this society. You can't get women to keep buying stuff if they're very happy with themselves. Right. You know what I mean? I really do mean this. Yeah. Like, well, as Chris Rock said, women be shopping. Women be shopping. You know, he did say that. I know. Do you know what? He's right. Listen, I'm not going to slap him. Yeah, exactly. The guy's right. What are you, Will Smith? No, yeah. Come on. But you know what I mean? You can't, like, if you continue to tell people there's something wrong with them, whether it's their skin, whether it's their weight, their appearance. Appearance is just the best way of getting to us to buy something. That's what it's going to be. It's consumption. Yeah. So, like, now, changing tack, right? Obviously, we've gotten in a very deep philosophical spiral there of why, of control. Let's look at something like Fenty, okay? About... What is that, like a type of latte? Okay, so actually I was going to ask you, what do you think Fenty is? Or I was like, is this some sort of slang for fentanyl? Is this like... So Fenty is a new lingerie line. Oh, come on, Grace. I barely just got my head around Victoria's Secret. Now I have to have another one in my head. Go on. By Rihanna. Rihanna. Oh, yes. Okay. Okay, I've heard about this. So, Rihanna, this is, you know, 2 months after the Victoria's Secret show was shelved indefinitely, Rihanna had her Savage X Fenty fashion show, which took place in New York. Now, Conor, it couldn't have been more different from Victoria's Secret. Okay. To say diverse would actually be underplaying how much Rihanna is like backing diversity in Fenty. She had such a myriad of different looking people in her fashion show. You should actually look it up. It's on Amazon Prime. I honestly would look it up. Oh, right, the actual show. Yeah, it's more even just than like a runway show. It felt like it was like a music video or something. It was such amazing. But the hour-long show, which is on Amazon Prime, was an ideological and visual opposite to Victoria's Secret. It was dark, moody, aggressive, and above all, it had a new point of view. Rihanna said, I'm looking for unique characteristics in people that aren't usually highlighted in the world of fashion as it pertains to lingerie. It's very important when casting tells the narrative of what the brand stands for. What we stand for is mainly inclusivity. Not only, like, she had the dancers in the runway show. She had a performance art with musical acts, dancers, accompanied models on like an off-kilter kind of runway. But the dancers were a wide range of sizes, as were the models. She had Isis King and Laverne Cox, 2 trans women, walk down the same runway as Gigi and Bella Hadid. So she also had some of the Victoria's Secret models there as well. She had drag queen Aquaria appeared alongside cis women in the show. Mama Cax, a black woman with a prosthetic leg, who also featured as a model, because this is something that we need to talk about again and again, is also disabled people being part of the beauty industry. There's nothing delicate about it. There's nothing fragile about it. It's your face, it's strength, and it's confidence. So fragility was also always kind of what Victoria's Secret was going, almost like childlike stuff, Victoria's Secret stuff. Even it was such a weird thing. It was like thongs and push-up bras, but then like people would be dressed up as feckin' unicorns, like, you know what I mean? Like, it was just such a weird sort of childlike thing. While like Fenty is more basic, kind of aggressively sexy and stuff like that. Nice. Am I right, fellas? Am I right? Our male listeners?
Oh, it's so funny.
Darren editing the show, nice.
But the big thing, obviously, the difference between Fenty and Victoria's Secret is Fenty was owned by a woman.
Yeah.
So Rihanna came in, and also it's like comfortable to wear in comparison to like Victoria's Secret was always this stuff that you were like, God, I could never wear that because it was so horrendously.
You're selling it to me, to be honest.
Yeah, exactly,
I
exactly.
want to wear it.
But I think she also had men involved in the show as well.
I think I saw
and
images of men,
larger men, because this is also something where I'm starting to see, which is brilliant in advertising. Larger women of all different shapes and sizes. I see them more and more, which is great. Not as much as we need to be seeing them. But I do see a lack of larger men. I do notice that isn't being talked about enough. Is sort of like body positivity for men is kind of still very much not something that I hear or I see or hear talked about. So
when will we have our moment, Grace?
When will men have their moment? Now, okay, in 2021, after the resignation of longtime influential executive Ed Razek, as well as the sale of the company, Victoria's Secret has kind of changed tack. And what do you think they've done, Conor?
Okay, let me think. If I'm...
Imagine they read your emails. They finally read your...
Okay, so let's say, if I was a
emails.
man who was embarrassed buying lingerie for my wife and spent 8 years researching it and then...
But he sold
it to a woman who sold it to an evil corporation who trained models to be super thin and then got basically cancelled out of the business and then sold it again. Jumpsuits?
Ponchos?
They went back to the nylon frillies.
So they've basically started to make huge changes and change up the spokespeople and the people who are the face of Victoria's Secret.
Okay.
They've gone down with Megan Rapinoe, I'm saying her second name incorrectly, I'm sorry, but the head of the American
Megan
football.
Rapinoe. No, I don't know, I've never heard of her.
The American football team. Do you remember they won the World Cup? She's a very famous woman.
The World Cup. Oh, the American soccer team. Okay,
yes,
sorry,
the female American soccer team.
How would I know an American soccer team?
She was mad famous. And you know what? I'm sorry, but I'm sorry, but if I could name a male sports star, you'd be like, yeah, him. But
I would know. Grace, me. You're like, Conor, you and your footy with your lager louts and whatnot.
Actually, why does the man who knew everything about the Wonder Bra and how to use know this? Anyway,
Megan Rapinoe.
Priyanka Jonas, who married one of the Jonas brothers recently. She's an Indian actress. And Naomi Osaka, who's also an American-Japanese tennis star. Okay. So they've really gone down another route.
Okay, so they've reclaimed it.
Yes, they're really trying to, I think,
rebrand.
Basically, Fenty has blown them out of the water.
Okay.
They've been really struggling, and they're trying to now. Apparently, plus size doesn't sell. Remember that old thing? And now everyone's like, "Oh, this really sells." Push it.
Yeah.
So they've really tried to change things up. Now I'm going to end on with two things. Right, Ed Razek. It wouldn't be right if I didn't mention the fact that
we've got him here today. Come on in, Ed.
Eddie, baby, boo, boo, baby. No, Ed Razek obviously had links to Jeffrey Epstein, as we said.
Oh.
There was also a lot has come out. This is an article from the New York Times in 2020 about Victoria's Secret harassment behind the scenes. There was a lot that went on.
Yeah.
He would take part in some of the casting sessions. I'm not going to go into it. It's very difficult. Obviously, if you ever suffered from any kind of sexual assault or misconduct, it'd be very difficult to listen to. If you want to read up on it, we obviously don't. This isn't what our podcast is about. But it's Ed Razek. You can look up a New York Times article about it. They talk a lot about what happened behind the scenes. These models were put through a lot with him.
Oh my goodness.
And this was the guy, of course, who was in charge of how they should look, which tells you a lot.
That's so irresponsible.
About it.
Yeah.
But yeah, I would feel wrong if I didn't mention that because we talked about him on the show. So, one thing I'm going to end on some odd marketing facts about on a lighter note on Victoria's Secret. This is so much. Okay, Conor, one of the Victoria's Secret ads. What musician? Just give me any musician that you would least likely to be associated or
least likely.
Appear in a Victoria's Secret ad or show.
God, I mean, it could go either way. I'm going to say Weird Al Yankovic.
God, I'd watch the hell out of that ad. No, Bob Dylan.
Oh my God.
Bob Dylan, who of course you'd associate with Victoria's Secret, appeared in a Victoria's Secret Super Bowl ad.
When was that?
In 2004.
Oh
an incredible year.
That's crazy.
So, following Super Bowl halftime show controversy over indecent exposure on broadcast television. This must have happened in a Victoria's Secret ad. Victoria's Secret sent their models out on an Angels Across America tour. Right. They also presented an uncharacteristic advertisement with Bob Dylan as an alternative means of promoting the brand. Razik, the then chief creative officer, was credited with the idea to cast Dylan in a commercial along with Wexner. The ad proved to be memorable, but a bit unsettling. And baffled viewers.
I need to see that ad.
I need to see that
Is there
ad.
a song? Does he do a song?
Actually didn't watch it. I want to watch it with you later. Let's watch it later. Okay. Victoria's Secret. Who else? Okay. Victoria's Secret TV ads, right? Name a director that you think could be associated with it. A very famous director that would have directed some of these ads.
Tarantino.
No. Michael Bay.
Oh, no. I mean, that's a good call.
Yeah.
That is a good
call. If anything, I'm like, that makes sense.
Yeah, that's someone that they're...
I mean, basically, Michael Bay makes Victoria's Secret adverts anyway in films and just pretends they have a storyline.
Yeah.
So
his movies are the action movies, or the Victoria's Secret of action movies,
exactly,
for sure.
Yeah. So he directed ads released in 2010, 2012 with mixed results. Critics regarded them as macho and misguided.
I mean, that sounds perfectly on brand for Victoria's Secret.
In 2014, the company created a campaign called the Body Bra, called the Perfect Body, as we mentioned earlier, which also got a lot of controversy for promoting a limited and unhealthy body type.
It did not go down well.
Anyway, they're sponsoring us today.
I'm very uncomfortable.
We're both in the brass. Yeah. My tits are up to my eyes at the moment.
Thanks for listening to this episode of Fad Camp. As always, we want to thank our producer, Darren Lee. If you enjoyed this episode, please feel free to review us on iTunes, Google Podcasts, or wherever you listen to your podcasts.
Great ratings and reviews really help more people find the show, and it would mean a lot to us.
Make sure to share the episodes with friends and family or on your social media. Every listen helps.
And we absolutely love hearing from our listeners, so please get in touch with any of your diet stories on fadcamppodcast@gmail.com.
This show is part of the Head Stuff Podcast Network, a hub for the creative and the curious. Shows are produced in association with Head Stuff and the Podcast Studios Dublin. Find out more or become a member at headstuffpodcasts.com.